The boardroom was frozen. The air felt heavy, like time itself had stopped. Bradford Sterling leaned forward across the shiny table, his voice low and cold. "All right, kid," he said. "Let's see how smart you really are. If interest rates rise and costs go up, what will she do then? Let's see if you can translate that." The question wasn't just difficult. It was a trap. He wanted to embarrass Devon. He wanted to prove that a poor 10-year-old from Harlem didn't belong in a room full of billionaires. Eleanor watched him, calm but tense. Her silver-haired hands moved slowly, asking for clarification. Richard, her son, tried to sign, but his signs were clumsy. Bradford smiled. He thought he had won. Then Devon stepped forward. His small hands began to move, smooth, fast, precise. He signed the question properly to Eleanor, using every term he had learned from years of study. For a moment, the room forgot he was just a boy. He was confident, focused, brilliant. Eleanor's eyes lit up with understanding. She signed back rapidly, her fingers dancing through the air. Devon turned to the executives and translated every single word. "Mrs. Blackwood says the company already locked interest rates for 3 years. She also signed long-term supply contracts to stop prices from rising. She planned ahead before you even thought about it." The room went dead silent. Bradford's jaw tightened. Dr. Wilson looked at him sharply. "That's true," she said. "It's all written in the report." Bradford's face turned red. He stood up, shouting, "This is ridiculous! You're all falling for an act. He's lying. He's making it up." Eleanor signed something quickly, her face cold. Devon's voice was calm but strong. "She says that's exactly what people say when they're losing." The board gasped. For the first time, the child everyone ignored was standing tall while the powerful man trembled. Bradford tried again. He wrote something on a piece of paper and threw it across the table. "Let's test him." "Translate this!" Eleanor read it, her expression firm. Then she began to sign, each motion sharp and full of emotion. Devon translated in perfect rhythm. "She says you use big words to hide small ideas. That profit without purpose is greed. That a company's value isn't only money, it's people, trust, and community." The room erupted in whispers. Even those who doubted her before were now clapping softly. Bradford's hands shook. He shouted, "She's too old! She's deaf! She can't even run this company!" The insult hit the room like thunder. Dr. Wilson stood up, furious. But Eleanor raised her hand and began signing again, slowly, powerfully. Devon translated every word. "I built this company from $5,000. I may be deaf, but I can read numbers better than you can read honesty. You thought I was weak because I couldn't hear, but I was always listening with my eyes." Then she pointed at Bradford. "And that's how I saw what you tried to hide." Richard opened a drawer, pulled out a thick envelope. Dr. Wilson opened it and froze. "Bradford." "You've been stealing money," she whispered. $2.3 million. Fake invoices. Company fraud." The boardroom exploded with shock. Bradford backed toward the door. "You can't prove anything." "We already have," Dr. Wilson said coldly. "Security will escort you out." 2 guards entered, and Bradford's arrogance finally vanished. He was gone, the man who laughed at a deaf woman and a poor child now exposed by both. When the room settled, Eleanor turned to Devon. Her hands moved softly, tenderly. Devon smiled as he translated. "She says thank you for giving her a voice." Rosa entered the room, tears in her eyes. Eleanor signed to her too. "You raised a remarkable son," Devon said. "You should be proud." Rosa hugged her boy tightly, whispering, "You were so brave, mijijo. So brave." Richard knelt beside his mother, ashamed. "I'm sorry, Mom. I should have learned to understand you." Devon translated Eleanor's gentle reply. Trying isn't enough anymore. From today, this company will always have interpreters. Everyone deserves to be heard, Dr. Wilson nodded. And we'll start hiring more deaf employees, training interpreters, and building equality into every level of this company. Eleanor smiled through tears. It only took one child to remind you what I've been saying for years, she signed, and laughter filled the room, soft, relieved, real. Months later, Eleanor's $50 million housing project finally began construction. The groundbreaking ceremony drew hundreds of people. At the center stood Eleanor, Richard, Rosa, and little Devon. Behind them was a large sign, the Anderson Community Center for Deaf Services. Rosa gasped. Devon looked stunned. She named it after us, he whispered. Eleanor smiled, signing proudly. This building is not charity. It's justice. Cameras flashed. Reporters asked questions. The boy who once stood small in a boardroom was now standing tall before the world. Months turned into years. Devon grew older, teaching sign language to other kids, just like he had learned for his sister. The story of that day spread everywhere, news shows, newspapers, social media. Millions watched the video of the brave little boy who spoke up when no one else would. The final voiceover fades in softly. Sometimes, the smallest voice can make the biggest change. Sometimes, the people the world ignores are the ones who change it. Courage doesn't need wealth or power, only a heart that refuses to stay silent. The camera fades to black. Text appears on screen. Everyone deserves to be heard.